Please introduce yourself.
Introduce myself. So for me,
नहीं
hello
नहीं
guys,
रिकॉर्ड नहीं
everyone.
किया है रिकॉर्ड
क्या
नहीं
किया फिर?
मैं बस प्रैक्टिस
अच्छा
किया
रिकॉर्ड
था
हो रहा है। ये भगवान, मैं शुरू कर दिया था इधर।
Hello, people, welcome back to my channel. So, this is the second video of the podcast, and today we have a very close friend of mine, Mr. Amrit Raj. I met him on the very first day of my college, and he was one of those people who got selected initially during our placement season, and he got selected in one of the FAANG. So, basically, he actually got PPO. So, let's know about that in his own words. So, Amrit, can you please introduce yourself?
Hi guys, my name is Amrit Raj. I am basically from Patna. I did my graduation from the National Institute of Technology, Silchar. I was the batchmate of Anurag, and we met on the very first day, and we became instant friends, obviously, because we hailed from the same place and we had quite similar interests. I did my schooling. My 12th stands from the St. Michael's High School. It is again a great experience. And overall, as suggested by and as said by Anurag, I did my BTech in computer science and engineering with him, and I was luckily, thankfully, one of the first few people to be placed in our college. And even before most of the companies visited, I was placed because of the PPO offer. And apart from that, you'll know more about me as we proceed with this podcast. So let's see how and where it goes.
Yeah, so Amrit, let's talk about the first year. So, when you entered your college, how was it? How did you feel?
It was great actually. While moving and shifting from Patna to Silchar, I realized that we were moving back in time. The train which we boarded was actually moving back in time from the very advanced stage buildings, huge buildings, tall buildings, to smaller buildings, to finally to the jungle and towards to the college where there was nothing but only our college was there and there was a lush green campus. The campus was great. All the people were great. The first thing that I noticed when I came there was I was just looking for people who were from sort of very friendly looking, very cool and not very scary because I was going out from my hometown for the first time for such a long distance. So I was looking for familiar faces. I did not find anyone, but then I found Anurag and a few more people, and I just befriended them. First year, first year it just started and it ended. It just started and it ended. For
True,
me,
very true.
there was nothing much in it because actually, it went on very fast, but there were small, minute chunks of great experiences, great exposures, great learning, great fun. But they all just came in and went by so fast that it felt like it was a day, just a flash and it's done. But it was a great experience.
Right, right.
Go into further details, especially Anurag did a lot of fun. He made lots of friends. I was one of those loners, but he had a great friend circle.
Well, that's not true, guys, but he's just being modest.
I admire him particularly for his skills at making social contact, which is great, I must tell you. And we had fun. Most of the first year, the very first quarter, I think, of the first year was spent understanding what the college is in general, not just our college, what college is in general. We are all school grads and we had no idea what college looks like. So we just tried to adapt to the college norms, as they say, not the school norms which were used to, standing up when the teacher comes, good morning, sir, good morning, ma'am, and then eventually we moved on to the college where we used to stand up, but just out of respect and very subtle way. So eventually, these small things like these and these habits they started inculcating in these first 3 4 months, and as we proceeded. By 6 months, 6 months to 7 months, we were wholehearted collegians. We knew the trends, we knew how to talk, we knew how to interact, we knew where to find help from seniors or from wherever, and our contacts grew. And eventually, the first year was a fun. It was an overall fun, and I think one of the most fun years of the 4 year journey.
So, first year was basically like कि explore करने में ही निकल गया, right? Just in a flash.
Yeah, it was like thunder and lightning.
Yeah.
You hear the thunder, and by the time you look up to the sky, the lightning's gone.
So, Amrit, whoever from our college will be watching this video, he or she knows that Amrit did everything. He was the person who did everything like ML, Android, web development, coding, data structure algorithm, I mean, basic coding, and then competitive programming also. So, I mean, I would like to ask you and I guess most of the people want to know that how did you manage your time doing all this together and also studying and having a good CPI? I guess 8.9 or something around that. Yeah.
Very close, very close. 8.85.
Yeah. So how did you manage your time doing all this?
So the first 3 months I came here, I was quite astonished by the facilities. We had everything. We had like for a creator, we as an engineer, as a creator, we love to see our designs, our ideas come to life, be in the form of Android applications, be in the form of web design, be in the form of UI, UX, anything that we can think of, we can project it in a real world. For us, which I myself call creator, we all call each other creator. For creators, the college provided all sorts of tools, which were absolutely new to us. We had a great library, digital library. We had great teachers who were actually very knowledgeable. Our peers, our seniors were very, very knowledgeable. So this kind of ignited me to grab as much as I could because I knew these 4 years won't be very long. So I just started. It was just like a hungry guy gets into barbecue nation. Everything is free. 700 rupees paid. 1 hour is your just eat. So this is what I was going for in my college. 4 years. I knew that I won't be getting such a free time, such a great free meal. I just started working on each and everything, and each day I just made sure that I would squeeze out every second of my day so that when I go back in my fourth years or when I pass out, when I look back, I should not be regretting that this was a free time, this was a great time, I could have utilized it better. So this was the basic driving force behind my hectic timetable schedule. And the second thing which was great was my friends, because I did not get much time to relax, but whatever time I got, half an hour, 2 hours, my friends and the environment was so good that I could, recharge myself completely in those 2 hours. So that helped me, work for another 8 hours consistently. And
Right.
besides, if you really have the, zeal to see your creations, your thoughts into reality, and you are more of a creator level of person, engineering and college, especially a college of our caliber, is a great place. And I don't really think that you would be able to stop yourself from creating, from learning and growing if you are given such an environment and if you really like creating. So there's no secret. It was just fun and I was just enjoying myself.
So just want to know one thing. When you were doing ML, web, Android, so were you doing it all together or did you do it one by one? So how should, I mean, if someone wants to learn these all things, how should one proceed?
See, the basic idea was that I went on to learn things which are correlated. If I am, for instance, I was learning Java in the very first few months. So I made sure that anything which was correlated with Java, I might just grab that as well. So Android I found was based on Java. So I started Android parallelly. Then I started learning Python. Then I got to know that machine learning is a great thing which works on Python. I included that as well. So I made sure that both of these go parallelly because they complement each other. So at any point of time, I believe that one should always only go for pair of things which are complementing each other, not completely. You should not take up 2 to 3 separate fields, artificial intelligence, virtual reality, and everything which don't actually gel well together because that is only different.
Right.
You can say distract you. One will distract you from the other, but go one after the other. But if two things they are correlated, take them in parallel. Second thing is that my very basic fundamental was learn something from book, learns that thing from internet, implement that thing in a form of project. Two benefits straight away. First of all, you have a very good project to show in your CV. Second thing, whatever you learn is consolidated and you won't forget it, not at least till your fourth years, and after that you won't need it anyways. So this was a basic approach: learn from books, learn from seniors and online, and then move ahead to create a project. And that's done and dusted. All you need is to revise it when the time comes. So this was the basic approach how I used to learn.
Right, great. So secondary as a Nikla, we had classes and then we used to do whatever we were doing, fit tech fest and all, ये सारी चीजें थी. Then comes the third year, internship season. We were all rushing for the internship. You were also preparing for internship. We were all scared at the same time and excited. Then what was your approach of preparing for internships?
See, internship seasons, they actually came pretty fast. We're not really expecting it. And that's what I noticed when the company started coming. I really felt that most of my classmates were not actually prepared for it. They just came out of the blues. They were more
Right.
concerned about the placements and not about the internships. So it just came up. So but I, quite, I was one of those guys who was really very lucky to be in touch with seniors. I used to just message them on LinkedIn, text them on LinkedIn, and just ask random questions. I would create a list of questions, 10, 15 questions, and type them question number one, this is two, this is three, and they would answer back me as well in the order. Answer number one, answer number two, answer number three. So the seniors were very cooperative, and they told me that because they had passed through that phase, so they knew that it will come all of a sudden and you won't be prepared for it. So they somehow told me that you should be ready for internships. So I started preparing for internships little earlier than what others started.
One thing I remember, you used to talk to seniors, and then we had a WhatsApp group named as Overachiever, right? And you used to share those questions and as well as their answers, and we also get to know the insights, how to prepare and stuff.
Yeah, that idea of creation of that overachiever group was also from one of the seniors. He told me that preparing alone might burn you out. So you should
Yeah,
have a group
true.
of people who are like-minded, and you should strive towards to for a collective goal rather than an individual goal. So I created this group called Overachievers, and I must say the group performed exceedingly well. Most of the, I think all of
Yeah,
the
all of
candidates in
all
that
of
group,
us got placed.
they got great placements and they got great into great companies. So I used to chat with the seniors. Whatever they wrote, I just copied and pasted it into the group and let the other people as well read. So that actually gave me the advantage of an early bird. I started earlier, first of all, and secondly, I was more focused towards preparing for an examination rather than learning, the whole subject. See, there are two kinds of people. There are scientists and there are engineers. The scientists are those who study everything, read all the books, all the research papers, and then they go deep into it. And then there's engineers who basically just get the task done. That's important. How is it done? How is it working? Who cares? Same goes for me. While I was preparing for the interviews, I did not really go into the depth of every subject, every topic. I went to Geeks for Geeks, found out what's asked, and what's asked is what I should learn, and that's it. I just learned what was asked. I just learned how to present what I know. I went through very great books, very precise books, very concise books, but to the point books, uh, like the cracking the coding interview, the GFG questions, lead code, and that's it. Nothing special, and I was able to make it. Just a bit of luck as well. You can add that.
So summarizing this whole thing, this whole conversation is basically that you should know the basics that is required to sit for companies in during your placement season or for internships, and that will be you will be good to go with basics.
Yeah, really. During interns, the companies don't really expect a master class, software engineer. They are here to hire you and groom you. All they want is the aptitude. They want to make sure that if we teach you, you should learn, and you should have a foundation good enough that you should grab whatever is being taught. So if you project that I do have the very basic fundamentals from where I can have a launch plan, I can have a launch pad, and if you ignite my journey, I'll just blast off. The companies just want to see that. So if you could show them that I have a launch plan and I have a launch pad, you are good to go for an intern.
Right. So you got PPO in one of the FAANG. Previously, you had internship, and then you performed well, and you got PPO. So PPO is basically pre-placement offer. So those who perform well in internship, they get an offer letter, I guess. They ask you that do you want to join our company full time. So how was it? I mean, so it basically happened during fourth year. Initially, we started. So what was the feeling when you heard that you got PPO? Wow. So, how was the feeling?
So, first of all, while during the intern interviews, I had sit for I think two to three companies. I had to sit, and the fourth company was this company which I currently got my internship in. The first company was we went inside it, and even the interviewer, he did not even switch on his screen. I was just talking to a black screen, and it was pathetic. I was rejected. I was not rejected. I was kicked out absolutely out of the room. So I was completely devastated and I was quite used to it. Second round, second interview, third interview. By fourth, I knew that okay, it's all well and nice. So after these 4 or 5 interviews, I'd only given 4 or 5 interviews. I was not really expecting a PPO or anything as such, because what I had heard, that if you are paid such huge amounts of money, they must be expecting something from me. I couldn't believe it myself. Why? What's there in me? Why would someone pay me this huge money? But when I went into the corporate world as an intern, I started working there. 2 months intern it was. I learned the self worth of myself and any other employee, why we are paid this much. So after that, I knew that I deserved it, and it was a great experience when they offered a PPO. When they offered a PPO, I knew that I deserved it, and they have offered it. It was a great experience for me. The exact feeling when they actually revealed that I will be getting the PPO, it was revealed to me by one of the training placement coordinators. I wonder if I should name him here, but he
You
just called
can,
me in.
I guess.
Yeah, hello.
You can, I guess.
I think I can. He's one of my friends. He won't bother anyway. And even if he bothers, I don't care. So, Ojasvi Chaurasia was his name. He called me at midnight. I think it was 1:30 a.m. and he called me and he told me कि भाई तेरी job लग गई हो. And I was shocked that has the placement season even started? मेरी job कैसे लग गई? कहाँ लग गई? कैसे? And then I was asleep already. Obviously, I used to sleep very early. So I was having my phone on silent, and when I just opened my phone, I saw like 50, 60 messages and all the Facebook wishes. I was overwhelmed and I was not able to sleep that whole night. And that was the overall experience. The next day, it all synced in that, yeah, it's okay, it's going fine. I got a pre placement offer, and now I am placed and I am a settled corporate guy, full time employee.
So, Amrit, when you were interviewed and when this company came in our college, so how did you prepare for the company? Did you do any specific preparation, and what was the procedure?
See, just like any other company which visits the campus these days, we had an aptitude round where we were given two coding questions and a few of the behavioral questions, and 5 to 6, I think, debugging questions where you're supposed to find the bug in the code. So we gave that test. It's a general test. Most of the companies do they take that. So we gave that, and I just went home. The next day, we got the list of people who had successfully cleared the aptitude round. The cutoff was basically, I think, two questions were given, and they were expecting both the correct answers. So the cutoff was two,
Right.
and those who had cleared, they gave the list. And early morning, I knew it, and we knew that we had our interview scheduled just 7 days after that. So company specific preparation I started only in those 7 days, because I knew that I had to appear for this XYZ company. Before that, I had a very generic preparation, because I didn't really have any preferences for that in doing this company or that company. Getting a job, good job, decent job was more important. So I just was not preparing for them in a very absolute terms. So after I got this 7 day moratorium period, that after this period we'll be having an interview, we started specific preparations. Specific preparations were very simple. I went to Geeks for Geeks. I had solved about, I don't know how many questions, I don't remember, but it was like 600, 700 questions I had solved. I went there, opened all of them, tagged them with the company name, all the questions which were asked by this company, just scrolled through them down. 2 days were allotted to that. I actually allotted the days to all that I had to revise, all that I had to study for those 7 days. 2 days were given for the projects, because I had quite a large number of projects. I just wanted to revise through everything. I didn't want to get stuck someplace, so that if you are caught that this project is there, you created it, but you are not able to answer questions related to that. It might reflect to the interviewer that it's not your project and you have copied it down from somewhere. But it in general it does happen that if you created some project in second year, by the end of the third year, fourth year, you tend to start forgetting about the subtle details of the project. So I started revising all those projects. 2 days allotted to that. 1 or 2 days approximately, I think, I allotted to the core subjects: operating system, database management systems, networking, and all. After that, I think just one day was left. I went for a behavioral questions, the HR related questions, and I was prepared. I knew that I couldn't have done anything better than that, and I knew that for this specific company, this is the best that I can do for one specific company. All other things kept aside, other preparation should be for generic companies. For this specific company, I have given what best I could have done. When the interview started, I went ahead. There was one technical round, one bar raiser, they used to call it, or what to call it as a HR round. So the first interview was pretty great. The interviewer was very great. I went there completely, just the first time interviews as they go, fully suit, tied, and everything in the formals. When I went there, He asked me to completely, take off my blazer and be comfortable because it was quite hot. It was, I think, somewhere around in June or July. It was very hot, so I
Yeah,
just
during
took off
summer
my
season.
blazer. Yeah, and I started solving problems. He gave me two problems, two coding problems. I just started solving one after the other, and it was more of a getting to the answer together with the interviewer rather than giving the interviewer an answer by yourself. You have to work it out together. You have to solve that problem by yourself. If you don't know, you should counter question the interviewer. You should make sure that you know all the corner cases. You should ask for what is the corner case. You should ask for if this approach will work or not, or if you want to improvise. You should make sure that the interviewer should be like a client to you, and you should take it as a client meeting, talking to him over a question and trying to come up with a general solution agreeable to both sides. So I went on from the brute force solution to a more improvised solution, to more improvised solution, to and a solution which has lesser corner cases, to a production level code eventually with better comments and a better naming convention of variables and everything kept aside, to a clean great code where we both could agree that it's a great solution to this. Went on for one question, the second question, third question, and then eventually they say that yeah, we're done with this, and I think we can solve the problems for the company together. So we'll try to fix an appointment to you for the HR interview. So we had an HR interview just a late evening. It was a simple HR interview. The HR person were great people. They just wanted to have a basic interaction. If I were a good candidate, if I had you know a basic aptitude towards working in the corporate. They just wanted to know if I was ready to learn, if I was open to new culture, if I was open to their culture, if I could accommodate whatever learning was they were about to pour into my mind. And they was pretty satisfied. And by the end of the day, it was all over. I went back to my hostels, and as I usually did, I completely, I took off my shoes and just walked barefoot to the hostels. I used to do that because I was not very stylish person, so I was not pretty much used to the shoes and everything, and they used to, hurt my legs. So I just used to take them off, and so while I was moving back, by the time I reached the hostel, so it was late night, and then I received a call that the XYZ company, which you interviewed today, they want to have a photograph with you. So I went, why do you want a photograph with me? They're great people, they're very successful people. I'm just a student. So they didn't know you and two others they want to have a photograph with. So I was just told after by the end of that call that it seems that you guys are selected and that's why they want to have a photograph with you. So now I was very happy and I just walked and slowly I started to run and I didn't knew when I was absolutely out of breath and I reached there before time and then I had to catch up my breath and to my surprise the other two people were there even before me. I wonder how fast they ran. So they reached there and we had a photograph and finally they said that yeah we're good to go, let's celebrate. We went for a party. I was actually new to corporate culture and corporate parties. I never knew that if you hire someone you're supposed to give them a treat. So I was given a treat and with other two celebs and we had a great party that night and we went back home and this is the first experience of me getting selected in that interview for that internship.
Wow, that's great. So a busy and successful day well closed. So Amrit, you mentioned bar raiser, right? So what is it?
So bar raiser is a concept which was actually very innovative, I feel. The idea is to have the next candidate who joins you be better than the last candidate you hired. This makes sure that the company's standards, which they call the bar, continue to rise because with each hire they have students which are outperforming those which they hired in the last year. So this is the basic bar raiser around what they do is that they have the basic statistics and data of what they expected from the students from the previous year. So they expect the students this year to outperform their hires which they hired last year and in general perform very great. So this is what they call a bar raiser, and it's more of a mix of technical and HR round where they test that yeah you would bring more value to them compared to the previous ones, and eventually we grow.
Right. So, summarizing this whole conversation, let's say we have two, 3 points. So, first of all, that you should have the knowledge of basics. Second thing is you should ask questions while interviewing, right? Third thing is whatever projects or whatever you are mentioning in the resume, you should have a proper knowledge of that thing that you have mentioned, and you should not mention anything which you do not know or which is false. So it should not be false written. So that will be creating a bad impression on the interviewer, right?
And I think apart from that, another takeaway could be that you should be a brand, because what I have really felt is that brands hire brands. If you are not a brand, you should look like a brand. Your work should speak for you. Your work should be a signature. If you present your code, someone who's familiar with you and five other people, he should be able to distinguish your code from the other five. So if that's the kind of quality you generate, that's the kind of brand value you generate, you can expect great brands and companies to hire. So keep brandishing yourself. Make sure that you have that quality, you have that signature move, as I call, so that you stand apart.
Right, correct, very true. Apart from this, I mean, what would you like to suggest? What should we do during our college period? Should we do only competitive coding, or should we do web development, or mix of both, or should we focus more on having our CPI high, or what is it?
I really believe that college life is a great chicken biryani. You can't have a chicken biryani with one ingredient. You should have all of them in the right proportions and in the great, temperature, and everything should be perfect to, make sure that your biryani tastes good while you leave in the fourth year. So
Right,
you should do everything, you should explore everything, and if for instance, if you put salt, if it looks like more salty, reduce the salt in the next semester. So that's how it should go. You should go for coding, think that yeah, I've done enough, leave it for a semester, pick up again in the next semester if you feel that I'm losing touch of it. Explore things, but make sure that while exploring, you have a clear roadmap, because you don't want to explore the whole world. You want to reach the destination. So destination should be in your mind, but it does not mean that you should blind yourself to your surroundings and just move on a particular path. While moving, you can look around, see what's in the surroundings, and just make sure that you are stuck to a path, you have a goal, and if you can reach that, it does not matter what is the way. You just have to do everything which you think is important. And for coding and development part, I would suggest to go for development as well along with coding, because what I see is most of the coders, they generally tend to struggle with presenting their views, because they just code. You don't want coders alone. See, you'll always be hired for a software development engineer and not a coder. There's no profile as coder.
right,
So you
true.
have to be a software developer, someone who can understand the feedback from client, someone who can design something, someone who can solve a problem, and about 20% someone who can code. Because I really think after 2 to 3 years down the line, you would hardly be coding once you are promoted to SD2, but you'll still be a software engineer. So make sure that you learn how to code, but more importantly, learn how to solve a problem, learn how to communicate, learn how to bring out your ideas into reality. Make sure that you make a brand of yourself. Make sure that you holistically develop yourself and you understand the fundamentals of the computer science, and you can create something which millions of users, if not billions, would love to use and would them rate you on, if you're creating an Android application, you'd create something which millions of users use and they rate you great, and the satisfaction which you get is what you're looking forward to. If coding gives you that satisfaction, go for it. If development gives, go for it. But I would recommend you should have at least a little background of development. Be it anything. You can be a web developer, you can be an Android developer, anything, but it should be there. Because having your arsenal without a particular type of weapon might cost a lot in the battle. So you should have at least a taste of it.
Great. So I guess that's it with the questions. That was really a lovely session, but we now want to play a game.
Yeah, I'm open to games.
So you have to tell basically the first thing that comes in your mind after listening these words. Before that, let's tell us one good memory. I mean, you had a lot of good memories, but that one memory that you'll always cherish in your life in during college.
Hmm, that's a tough one. I have lots of memories. So we had a group, and overachievers particularly. I think the overachievers group, the time which we spent gazing the stars, at the top of that cricket ground, late evenings,
Yeah.
and discussing everything ranging from random garbage to great quality coding content, everything without any fear or favor. We used to just talk and we used to have a great time in the very lap of Mother Nature. That was one of the most beautiful experiences for my college life, not because that was the only great experience, but I think because that one experience could summarize my whole college life into one frame, then it would be that.
Okay, so tell me the first thing that comes in your mind. So college before lockdown,
College before lockdown, the first thing that comes to my mind is friends,
college after lockdown,
sleep,
same, right? Canteen,
udhar.
udhar. Okay. Yeah, I know Amrit had lots of udhar in canteens.
I didn't have cash. I didn't have cash because I was too lazy to go to the ATM to withdraw cash, and they didn't accept the card or anything else, so we automatically had that.
हाँ और इसके बाकी जितने फ्रेंड्स थे वो लोग पैसे भरते थे कैंटीन के. Okay, so hostel room.
Filthy. It was not dirty, it was filthy. It was really bad. For me, I did not clean my room, I think, for months.
Particularly talking about your room, right? Not everyone's.
Yeah, particularly my room. Particularly my room. My room was filthy, absolutely. I remember there was an egg which, we broke in the beginning of the first year. I bought an egg, it broke in my room, and it was there by the time I passed out from first year as well. So it was there 1 year. Eggs, they transition in color, and I just noticed that while I was, seeing that egg ripe each day. It started from yellow to pink to green to red. It had all the shades, and by the time we had to clean that because the warden, he got really angry, so we had to clean that. But for rooms, one word: filthy.
So next is gallery.
Which gallery? Gallery, our college gallery, or
College gallery, the new one.
so I think the first word that comes to me is free markers. Yeah, I used to take the markers from there, so that's why free markers.
Yeah, you had a whiteboard in your room and you used to write your notes on that or whatever you have to do. So you used to steal markers.
Not exactly steal. I just borrowed them and never returned them back.
Yeah. CSE department.
A really cool department. Cool department.
Cool as in we had AC or
Both ways. Both ways. That I didn't really thought. It is cool in figurative way as well and the literal way as well.
annual fest where you never went, I guess.
Yeah, mistake. For annual fest, the only word is mistake. I never attended that, so it's a great mistake. I would always regret in my life.
Next, Indie Lake.
Peace, silence. I love that place.
Football ground.
I never went there. I was too lazy.
FPS.
Teachers. I used to find that teachers, they used to sip their tea there and coffee there in the middle of the classes. So while going there, we used to find our HOD. He used to be there consistently. So for me, I think one word is teachers.
Right. Next, Hostel 5.
Saraswati Puja. It was the first time I went on that. I think it was a van or carrier truck. I went and brought that idol of that Saraswati Puja. So I remember that. And in fact, I was asked to sit into that puja because the prefect, he was not available.
So I guess that's it. Thank you so much for joining and sharing your views and your experiences.
Great session, absolutely. I liked the context, and above all, I loved meeting my old friend and talking to you about all that has happened already, cherishing those memories which might never come back. Great experience overall.
Right.
Thanks.
So yeah, this is it guys. So if you like this video, please comment down below. Tell me what did you like, what did you not like, and please suggest me if you have anything. Also tell me what kind of videos you want me to make next. And if you like my content, please subscribe to my channel. Until then, take care. See you in the next video.